Hello, my fair indie warriors. Literary Rose here with I Dream of Indie to talk to you about Squarekeeper on the Nintendo Switch. Squarekeeper is a single-player card-based puzzle game developed by KanakStudio and published by JanduSoft. I will be reviewing the Switch port of this game, but Squarekeeper is also out on Steam, Xbox One and Series, PS4, and PS5. Story haters, rejoice, for there is none here to distract you from the meat and potatoes of this game. Puzzles. You play unnamed anime hair boy hero 1, and you are tasked with escaping dungeons using various movement and attack cards at your disposal. However, for each dungeon level, you are allotted a specific number of cards of particular varieties, so it's up to you to figure out exactly how to puzzle piece your way past foes and make it to the exit. During my experience with the game, each level typically requires a very specific way of completing it using the cards, and rarely, if ever, will you have extra. So, much to my smooth-brained dismay, this is not a game you can brute force your way through. Although of course I did try. You have two standard types of cards. Movement, symbolized with a boot and a number for how many spaces you can move with it, and an attack, which can be anything from a sword to a spear to a bow and arrow. But these cards function very uniquely. For example, the boot card for movement only lets you move in a straight line in whichever direction you chose. And if your straight line forward lands you in a hole, that's where you'll end up. There is no stopping anime boy from plummeting to his death. Or the sword, which can attack in all directions, including diagonally, and it also moves you forward a space in the direction in which you slashed. And this isn't just some cute little quirk, of course. This is an important mechanic for solving so many puzzles, in which you will need to move diagonally and use the sword card, even if there is no enemy to slash. Or you may decide you need to pass a turn because there's an enemy that moves in a particular pattern, and you need to strike them at just the right time. Use a spear card, which pokes at enemies around you, but does not move you forward like the sword card does. This particular mechanic proved to be the most challenging for my small brain, as I got stuck on a puzzle for too long, much longer than I've ever want to admit. So I made a Twitter account, tweeted the developer for some emergency assistance, and thankfully they were very responsive. They started out with just giving me a hint, which thankfully I was able to do, only to get stuck again 3 puzzles later. Woo! But after one shameful plea for help, I could not face those lovely developers again for another hint, so I opted for brute force. Also, brute forcing takes way longer, so don't follow in my footsteps. The controls are easy to understand, and I found them to be very sneaky in their complexity. It's not just, oh ho ho, just a simple slash here, move there, just kidding, I did it wrong, died. That would summarize many of my attempts on just about every single level. What appears simple may actually be a good brain workout. So while it is a casual title, I would say there is a significant amount of content for you to enjoy. Unless of course you are ultimate puzzle master, then you might breeze through this, I don't know. I did find Squarekeeper pretty challenging, but as I've mentioned many times already, I am not good at puzzle games, I'm not a puzzle game player, and it's probably my least favorite genre because it reminds me of how not smart I can be, and my sensitive ego just can't take it. But even my ego was left fairly unbruised, since the puzzles do vary in difficulty, even as you progress forward. Yes, of course, the puzzles as a whole do become more complex, but there are some softballs thrown in here and there to soothe the less skilled players. So fear not, these puzzles are, I would say, balanced in difficulty, and all the challenges thrown your way build upon one another, with each prior puzzle teaching you a new way to use a card, approach an enemy, or traverse a dungeon. The pixel-based visuals are fine. Some of the animations can be pretty cute, but overall I would say they weren't particularly interesting or unique, which I do think is a shame. While I understand the core mechanic and purpose of this title, a little visual flair could go a long way. Likewise, I found the music to be average at best. The best way I can describe it is risky bongos. There's some gentle drumming, but at just a fast enough beat to keep you on alert. I really got sick of these bongos. And quick, which might not have happened if there had been just a touch more musical diversity. The sound effects were also, fairly fine, but very samey sounding, and even the winning sound when you've completed a level, which you would think would always bring a level of joy and relief, felt pretty meaningless to me as I went along. Again, I think this was a missed opportunity to add an extra oomph. Overall, Squarekeeper is a good game with solid mechanics. They'll have you scratching your head a bit, but due to the lack of visual or sound pizzazz, I don't think this will be a game anyone jumps at the bit to get.
Thank you so much for supporting clickbait-free content here at I Dream of Indie. We would now like to take a moment to shout out our brave indie warriors and legends that help make this channel possible. At the Indie Warriors tier, we have Bill, Christian Cruz, Adriana Amato, CJR, PSC, Julian Colbus, Jesse, Raylyn, Marky Mint, Dave Hart, Peekaboo, Lex Noyle, Strick9, and Chic Geek. At the Indie Legends tier, we have Jen Rose, Larkison, Mitchell Hall, Peach, Skepticism, C. Coyle, Nathan Moore, Chris Jackson, Mr. W, Blue Francis 14, The Beefarinis, Business Cody, Carmen Red, Jace Glover, King of the Hatch, and Ophidian Mind. Thank you so much for everything that you do for independent developers, publishers, and for I Dream of Indie. Head on down to the description box below. Let's defeat the gaming echo chamber and bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming.